Pawn's touching the pawn. Let's capture. I'm trying something new out based on the evaluation, which is pushing this pawn, because I loved pushing this pawn onto the queen, but after evaluation I thought, well, I'm going to give this a try, because the computer kept on pushing this center pawn here, and this is novel, well, new to me, the pawn pushing down here. So if we capture, then his queen takes ours and he gets the 20 pointer. Suppose we can bring our queen here. Pawn can't take because we've got the x-ray through to the king. Maybe the bishop comes down and does some, let's put an attack on the bishop here. Does that weaken his position somehow? Because we can actually capture the pawn, or let's capture the pawn, yeah, and then capture back here. So we're actually +1 just from that, but our king is not in the best place. So I'm going to bring the bishop here and castle queenside. It's coming for our pawn. Could bring our bishop here, his rook's just going to attack our bishop. Simply push the pawn maybe to protect. Looks a bit ugly. His knight is looking active, can't come here, can't come there because of this pawn. His bishop's now attacking our knight. I'm not too bothered about that. I'm going to just bring our bishop through, put an extra through to his rook. Let's capture here. So position's not too bad. It's attacking us, doubles his pawns on this side. I suppose that could be a benefit for us later. White square bishop can attack this pawn here. Let's go here and let's attack this pawn. His rook, one of his rooks will have to come down to protect it, which they do. And then we can bring our rook here with a check, and then that's going to be checkmate. That all seemed to happen very quickly, and they've resigned. Okay, have a quick look at the analysis on that one. Okay, yeah, that was a very quick game. So they pushed through, and we followed this, and then we wanted to practice the thing that we found from evaluation, that pushing this pawn was slightly better than pushing up to that side there. I mean, I don't have a problem pushing the pawn here. I've not seen anybody show any weaknesses against it at all, so I do have that one in the back pocket. But from constant evaluation, the computer kept on pushing here, and I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try, because I practice what I preach, which is basically, if you're doing evaluation, try and understand what it is that the computer suggests. Eventually, if you don't understand it, then try and work it in at some stage, practice it and understand what it is that the computer is actually saying. And I found that this move here, we do end up in this position anyway, even when we do push this pawn here, because then we push here so that the knight can jump through. So basically it's just beating that particular move order. So that's why I'm sort of half liking it. The opponent then came through with novel to me with the pawn push here, and we decided to basically put a pin through to their king, and then the bishop comes down and attacks, and we can attack it with a lesser piece, which is the pawn, and then capture a pawn, so we're a pawn up at this stage. Also then we get the exchange. And wanting to castle queenside now, because obviously there's no point in moving the dark square bishop and the knight. We're going to lose tempo because their rook is on our pawn. So then we decided to support it with the pawn rather than the bishop, because the rook could then come across and attack the bishop. And then we castled and then pinned through to the rook, doubling their pawns but also attacking their weak pawn. And I think the wrong rook actually came down there. I think his other rook could have come down and protected maybe. I don't know if that would have made much difference. Yeah, it could have gone. We would have then had to potentially double the rooks up on this file here. So that was a nice touch.